The Shadow Systems DR920L. Let's check it out. Shadow Systems is based out of Plano, Texas. They make all the parts for their firearms, everything right there at their facility. They've only been around since 2016, but during that time, they have really become one of the forefronts to Glock-inspired pistols and then taking it to the next level. I'm a big Glock fan. Been carrying Glocks for years, and it's a utilitarian tool. It's simple, it's reliable, it's effective. In fact, I call it the AK-47 of the handgun world. But it's plain, and there's a lot of people that like to take it, tweak it, bump it up to the next level. It's one of the things that Shadow System does very well. Whether it's a really nice trigger, whether it's the grip being more designed for your natural point of aim, whether it's the slide cuts, fluted barrels, just a lot of different features, and it's one of the things that Shadow Systems has done. I've had a lot of experience now with Shadow Systems. I'd been hearing a lot about it, but once I got one of these in my hand, I mean, it is really just one of those guns. When you put it in your hand, it's similar to the Glock, but it takes it to another level. And honestly, the grip is one of the big things. To me, the Glock's always had that thicker grip. Again, I put over 100,000 rounds through Glocks, so I'm very used to it. But when you take it and you take down those edges and you give it just a little bit better texturing, there's something about the shootability of this gun that exceeds your Glock. And so we're going to take a look today at a brand new offering from Shadow Systems, and this is the DR920L for long slide. This is their first model that kind of similar to the Glock 34, has that longer sight radius. This is excellent for competitive shooters, especially because you can really get on target very quickly. And so if competitive shooters can get on target quickly, how much better can home defenders or people that really want to carry a larger size pistol get on target? Now I want to give a big thank you to Shadow Systems for sending the DR920L for this review. This is again a brand new pistol from Shadow Systems, and it's great to be able to get my hands on one so I can show you guys what this is all about. The Shadow Systems DR920L. The DR is for duty roll, 9 is for 9mm, 20 is for 2020. And this is their current model, and this is the long slide. They have a number of different configurations and pretty much the whole entire Glock line, and this fulfills their long slide roll. This is very similar to the Glock 34 in dimensions and length. But there are some significant differences between the two pistols. In fact, this will go into any of your Glock 34 holsters. Let's go ahead and make sure the gun's unloaded. We're going to drop our 17-round magazine. They are P-mags, and you do get 2 magazines with the pistol. And we'll check the chamber, and the gun is empty. Now, a lot of guns that are inspired with the Glock design come with P-mags, but for me, typically, I like to use the standard Glock factory mags. Just overall, I get better reliability, but I do like the base plate on the P-mags. And again, you get 17 rounds, so this gives you that full size. Now, Shadow Systems actually started out in 2016 making Glock aftermarket parts. And in 2018, they introduced their first handgun. And since that time, Shadow Systems has developed a really strong reputation for putting out a really nice Glock platform type pistol, but with a lot of upgrades that make this honestly very shootable. Again, guys, I'm a huge Glock fan. I love them, but there are a lot of things that people like to do to them and really bring out the potential. You know, the Glock is the AK-47 of the handgun world, and that simplistic design is what this pistol is based on. Now, as far as Glock compatibility with parts, this is based on the Gen 4 series. One of the things about that is because the trigger mechanism in the back is a little bit smaller on Gen 4 and Gen 5, they chose the Gen 4, and it just allows for you to get a lot higher up. It's less travel to the trigger, and so it just gives you a lot shorter distance between the two. Also, with your mag release, with the Gen 4, it is reversible to the other side. And so that was a big plus for Shadow Systems to have that with Gen 4. With Gen 3, it's only on one side. A second part of that is the slide stop. It's only on one side. And one of the things that Shadow Systems talks about is they didn't want to have this hanging off the pistol, just an extra accessory that you have to manipulate. And to be honest with you, when you're racking a slide to slide lock, and if you hit the slide stop, it'll definitely work. But one of the things about this is you'll notice that if I pull it back like the slingshot, it actually comes back another almost a half inch. And so it gives you more force to be able to get that round in there for positive seating. And so that's one of the things about this pistol is it's more based on the Gen 4 than most of the Glock clones that you're seeing that are based on Gen 3. Now here I have one of the Foundation series pistols, and that is their baseline. That really competes more toward the Glock as far as in price. But it does have even some upgrades over your standard Glock. But this is just pretty much plain Jane. But one of the big things is your grip. And all the components in the bottom are pretty much the same with all the different pistols. When it gets to more of your higher end pistols, is typically a lot of work on the slides. And of course, you can see the titanium nitride barrel that they use, and we'll look at that a little closer in a second. But these are just solid handguns, and the Foundation series, you know, is just one of those guns that, again, is just more utilitarian, but yet it has some really nice slide cuts. I really like the grip, and it comes in at a good price. Now, the slide has a black nitride finish on it, and it is 17-4 stainless. The barrel is 416R stainless. And then with that black nitride finish, it's just going to give it really great corrosion resistance. Now this is in the Elite series, and so it has a lot of different features on the slide. One of them is the directional slide cuts, which make this really easy to grab. There's a lot of real estate here on the front, being that long slide. They did just introduce a model that almost is in the exact same configuration, but it's in the Glock 17 size with a built-in compensator. And so that's one that has just been released as well. But one of the things about a compensator is sometimes they can be a little more finicky than your standard pistols. And with this, you get that really long sight radius. And that's one of the big things that competitive shooters really like if they're not using optics, is you get that longer sight radius. You get more slide at the back, so you're getting less felt recoil. And one of the big things about all the Shadow Systems pistols is they have this recoil ledge. And so as I grip the gun, I can put my thumb here, and it definitely mitigates the recoil. I mean, you can just get a lot more leverage to the pistol, and so it allows it to shoot a lot flatter. And guys, I'm telling you, this really works well. And I like that high ride on the grip. It has a very low bore axis with this beaver tail configuration that comes out. It's built into the frame. And to get that with the Glock, you've got to have an add-on backstrap, which gives you a little more surface area. And so this really trims down the standard Glock frame. It just kind of rounds off the edges. The texturing is excellent. I mean, it's not too aggressive, but yet it gives you a really solid purchase. You have a nice undercut, and then you have the reverse cut here at the trigger guard. And sometimes when you get that undercut, it changes your natural point of aim, and so this brings it back into alignment. And you also have a pad at the front. We have that one slot Picatinny rail that's very familiar with the Glock, and you'll notice this cut at the front. I mean, it really bevels out, and so it gives you just that little bit of a slide weight savings. On the Elite series, they do have ports in the barrel, and it allows you to really get a good look at that bronze titanium nitride barrel. And it is fluted. It lessens the weight of the barrel, but it actually adds strength to the barrel. And then also, if there's any debris that gets inside the slide, the fluting will keep it clean. And so it's just some advantages with fluting. And here at the top, you have step serrations, just going to give you more real estate to be able to grab with the slide serrations. And that makes it easier for press checks or even for racking the slide. Rear sight's black and it has the serrations. We have a tritium bead at the front, and it does have that fluorescent green that goes around the sight. And you can see, man, it really makes it easy to pick that front sight up. Now this is optics ready. And one of the things about Shadow Systems and their optics plates is this is a multi-footprint optic system. So there are a lot of different sights that will go on here, all the major sights, and so that way you can pull off your cover plate and then you can mount the sight directly to the firearm. One of the things that's really different too about Shadow Systems with that is they've actually shortened their extractor, and so it gives it more room to be able to drive screws down in here to give it a really solid fit. And guys, I've been shooting Glocks for years, and it's one of the problems. The plates underneath can warp, and I've put steel plates in there, and you know, there's just a lot of things that this solves. Your slide stop is extended, and it does have a fence around it to protect it if you like that high ride grip. And your mag release has those steps. It makes it really easy to be able to get a hold of and drop those mags out. There is a bevel on the mag well, which is removable. So you can pull this off. There's a pin, you just drive it out, and this will come right off. And there is a slight bevel in the magazine well itself. Now it comes with 2 additional back straps, and one of the things that Shadow Systems does is the 2 back straps actually help align your natural point of aim. This came with the medium back strap attached, and when I lifted the pistol just to aim it, the sight was high. I came back in and changed it out for the larger back strap, and then the sight was actually low. And when I put on the more flat back strap, it actually lined up just right. I mean, this honestly works very well. And you get a tool to be able to switch those out, and it's just a small pin here. You do have to take the mag well off as well, which is no big deal. Now for optics mounting, you get 3 different length sets of screws. You also get spacers to be able to set your sight just in the right position. And you can see how deep these screws are. I mean, you can really mount down an optic to this pistol. Now we wanted to review the gun as is. I started to put a micro red dot on there, but I just wanted to leave it as you'd get it in the box. And there's so many different choices for micro red dots, I just figured we'd leave it off. But one of the things about this mag well is when you're gripping it, if you do the pinky press, it aligns that pistol in your natural point of aim again, and this really allows you to find that red dot. And so while a lot of guns, I'm not a big fan of having a mag well on a gun this size, I think it's really nice to have that because this is low drag, no snag, super fast, and so you really want to be able to manipulate the controls very simply. And getting those mags in and out is one of the major things that keeps your speed up. You have your trigger safety right here, and if it's not depressed, it will not allow the trigger to be pulled. And so here we have it. We have a little bit of take up. I really like the geometry. It's more toward the flat side. A little bit of take up, a little bit of pressure, and then we have the break. Not a bad trigger. To me, it excels the Glock trigger. And then reset right there. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds, 2.5 ounces. 2 pounds, 12.3 ounces. It's going to be around that 4.5 pound. We've done this a number of times and we were getting about 4.5 pounds. Big thanks to Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammunition. All made in the USA, one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. This is 115 grain. We've also got some of their defense loads, and this is the Extreme XTP line. It's 124 grain XTP jacketed hollow points. We're going to shoot some through this pistol. And we also appreciate Lula Loaders for helping us with these 17 round magazines. The guy's breaking out the DR920L. You know, it just has that long slide, but it's really cut soft. keeps it really flat shooting. But also, that shelf, that recoil edge, allows you to really bear down, get a good grip, high ride. I mean, it's got everything you need to make your shooting optimal. With the mag well, just goes in very easily. I mean, it's just really, you don't even have to really pay attention to it. It just goes in however you put it. Slide cuts, very functional. I mean, that thumb on that ledge, man, it nestles right in there and it just keeps it flat. And with those sights, you know, that tritium front sight with that blacked out rear, it just gives you a great sight picture. Very comfortable in your hand. Even shooting fast, and it's very pointable. I tell you what, guys, it's a big pistol, but it's made for competition. It's made to get on target. And the low slide mass combined with this grip angle, and we've had no malfunctions. I mean, zero malfunctions. I know they recommend that you have a 200 round break-in period, but really you should do that with all your firearms, especially if you're going to depend on it for self-defense. Shadow Systems is definitely a cut above, and I've just been impressed with them. And when it comes to disassembly, drop your magazine, check the chamber. It is a Glock platform, so it disassembles pretty much the same. First thing I want to do is point the firearm in a safe direction, pull the trigger, pull back about 1/8 of an inch, and pull down on your takedown tabs. Now, one of the things that I've had an issue with, the trigger popping back. So if you go ahead and hit that, it'll pull it off. I've tried that a couple of times, it keeps doing it. So then we have our recoil spring. It is all metal, and it is the flat recoil spring. And then we have our barrel, pull it out. I mean, what a beautiful barrel. That bronze titanium nitride finish is just gorgeous. And again, this just helps for debris to come off of the barrel, and it keeps it away. It also, again, gives it strength, and it's just beautiful. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. It's very simple, just like your Glock. Here on the inside of your slide, I mean, it's just been very well executed. There's no tooling marks, just very clean. And when it comes to the grip and the frame, I mean, same thing, Glock aftermarket parts fit in here very well, and you can definitely put Gen 4 parts. So for reassembly, we drop in our barrel, go ahead and put in our recoil spring and guide rod, back over the frame, test for function, and we're good to go. Retail price is $1,175. Dealer price typically will run around just under $1,000 as far as what most have been going for. This is in the Elite series, and so it has all the slide cuts that you get at the top of the line. They do make the Combat series, which pretty much does without the slide ports and without the top serrations. And then you have your Foundation series. This one only comes in the Elite series at this point. And so Shadow Systems may be offering the others. They do come again with a black barrel, and you can get it in the FDE color as well. Now let's talk about some pros and cons. First off, this is really excellent for competitive shooters. It's got that long sight radius. It's got that lessened slide mass, but yet it has slide mass that'll kind of help tame the recoil. Very flat shooting. And of course, with this recoil edge, I mean, we had a great time at the range. I mean, this is just a really smooth shooting firearm. With that longer slide, it gives you just more pointability. And so it gives it more balance. And so I really like that. Over the Glock Model 34, which has a heavier slide, more thick, and so this just reduces a lot of that. Plus, with the grip angle, love it. I love their system, actually, to be able to put it to your hand. What's your natural point of aim? Slide serrations are excellent. I mean, they're very purposeful. Your optics cut goes directly into the slide. That's a big plus. The mag well, of course, just an exceptional firearm for a long slide. This is also great for a tactical application for the guys who really, need something to be able to get on target quickly. And then for home defense. Cons, it's a large pistol. So if you're going to carry this on your hip, it'll be an outside the waistband holster. It's just a larger gun, but there are guys that'll do it. But Shadow Systems has a number of different pistols that you can, fit whatever you're looking for. It's all made right here in the USA in Plano, Texas, and that's one of the things that Shadow Systems, making all their parts, it just keeps their quality control under control. And so that is a big plus as well. One con is that your Glock 34 is going to run a little bit less. When it gets into a lot of the features that they're offering, it just costs to do that. So if you're really wanting a long slide and you just really can't put out $1,000, definitely the Glock Model 34, it can come in at a reasonable price, but I think there are a lot of advantages with the DR920L. And Shadow Systems, again, has really built up a great reputation for making solid firearms. So a little pricey for some, which would be a con, but otherwise an excellent out-of-the-box competition-style pistol, again, that can be used in self-defense situations. So guys, if you're looking for that long slide, and you love the Glock pistol, but you want to up your game, this is a great way to do it. And guys, honestly, even if you don't like the Glock, the change in the grip geometry really makes this a whole different experience. And yet, it retains that Glock reliability. But the dimensions have been tightened up to give you a little better accuracy. The grip's been thinned down to give you a little bit better ergonomics. You're getting a optics ready version, but with the long slide, I mean, it really gets that sight radius out there to be able to get those shots on target really fast. And a lot of the other features that, guys, if you went to a custom gunsmith, I mean, this would be double the price. So it's really great to see Shadow Systems coming in, putting out a lot of different offerings, and it's just the golden age of firearms, guys, and there's so many choices, and this is an excellent one to take a look at. And again, a big thanks to Shadow Systems for sending the DR920L for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. And we want to give a big thanks. And we want to give and it's really great to have one to show you guys. Okay. One thing is their grip. Okay. But even if you're not, this changes the game. Okay. This means duty roll. Okay. This means duty roll 9. But they tighten up the pistol. Okay. But the features. Okay. The new Shadow Systems. This isn't sad. This makes me happy.